Alright, so when you open up the box, first thing it comes with is a very nice case, which I'm always a fan of. I like keeping my tools nice and organized, even though you wouldn't think so by looking at the top drawer of my toolbox. I just finished something else up, so don't worry about that. But here's the main unit itself. Here's the test leads, just like you'd have on a multimeter. Here's your, looks like a jump pack lead, but this isn't a jump pack. It's going to be for battery testing. And here's the OBD2 cable, and then the little serial connection to the unit. And then of course we've got the owner's guide, user's guide. So we're gonna go ahead first and connect this. We'll try it out with OBD2 reading and see how that goes. Alright, so looking at this unit here, it looks like it has built-in battery. I haven't charged this at all, and honestly I've had this for a little while and I haven't done the video yet, so this is kind of surprising that it turns on. It's got built-in battery, got a charging port on the side there for it. I just kind of fired it up to take a look at what kind of stuff it's got on it. So I see OBD2, readiness test, diagnostic trouble code lookup, setup, multimeter, start test, battery test. So yeah, it's got a lot of features in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and try as many of them as I can. So first thing I'm gonna do right now is go over to my car. I've got a check engine light. I'm just gonna do a basic code scan. I'm not gonna repair it or anything. I'm just gonna, try out the tool, see how it works. Alright, so right now I've got it plugged into my 97 Subaru Legacy. So I'm just going to go ahead and try out how this bad boy works. So I've got it connected to the OBD2 port there. Got the key on. I'm going to see what this code says. So looking at it here, I'm going to go to OBD2. Looks like it's connecting to the car. It says it's waiting for the vehicle to respond, whatever that may mean. Okay, so codes found, we've got one. Erase previously stored data to save data from this test. I'm going to hit no, just because I don't really know what that means at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and just read codes. Stored codes. P0400, exhaust gas recirculation flow. So that's something with my EGR system, which I knew this code has been up. It's honestly been up since I've owned the car, but where I live there's no emissions, so I really haven't done anything about it because it doesn't affect drivability. So let's see if it can give us any more info or anything. No, that's really all it gives us there. Let's see if we got any pending codes. No pending codes. Okay. So we can erase the code. So let's just say I want to erase the codes. Let's try that out. Erase trouble codes. Are you sure? Yes. Yes, I do want to continue. Alright, erase done. So let's go ahead and turn the key back off. Fire it up. And the light is off, so it can clear codes. So if you just want a basic scan tool, this definitely does that. It erases codes. There's a couple more options in here, but these are very similar to other tools I've used or I've reviewed on here. So I might link to those as far as that, because this is very familiar menus. Readiness monitors and things of that nature. So there's a lot more in here for that, but I'm just doing a basic overview on a couple of the things, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. I did a little bit more into that on a couple other videos, so I will link to those in the description. Alright, so looking at the manual here, I want to do the battery test next here. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so battery test number 9, page 86. So let's go to page 86. Alright, so page 86, so it says make all loads are off in position and out position, connect the terminals, blah blah blah, go to battery test, okay, regular, select the battery's capacity rating, which we'll go through that. Okay, pretty simple. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here right now. Alright, so we've got it hooked up to this Die-Hard battery, 700 cold cranking amp. This is an old battery I took out of my Lexus because it stopped starting reliably. Overnight it would be to the point where it would barely crank. So what I did is I left this on a trickle charger for the last couple weeks. So I'm going to see what we come up with. I'm pretty sure it's going to test bad, but I'm curious to test out this tool to see how accurate it is. So I'm going to go down to battery test. So right now it's reading 8.33 volts. So that already tells me this thing is not good. But I'm going to continue anyways. So it's a regular battery, it's not a gel or AGM. Cold cranking amps, let's put that in there. It is 700, so we're going to press up. 700, okay. So it's testing right now. Can't really see if it says waiting for it. So it's telling me to charge and retest. So part of this could be that it came off of the trickle charger overnight, so I may redo the test on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to that car here. Okay, so right now I'm going to hook it up to my 240SX. This car hasn't been started in a couple of weeks. I have not had it on a trickle charger. I am hooking it up right now. This is a 660 cold cranking amp battery. So battery voltage is 12.129, which is a little bit low, but that makes sense since I haven't started in a while. So I'm going to press OK to continue. It's regular battery. It's 660 cold cranking amps. And then let's see what the test says. It says replace batteries, voltage 12.31, measured 339 cold cranking amps, rated at 660 cold cranking amps. So that's not good, but this battery starts perfectly fine. So I'm kind of questioning that. So next I'm going to go over to my Skyline, which does not start if you let it sit for like 2 weeks. So I've had a trickle charger on it. I started up earlier today, started up fine. It cranks a little slow, so I'm a little curious of whether if it's the battery issue or the starter, but since it goes dead, I'm thinking more towards the battery, but we'll try it out. Okay, so right now I've got it connected to my Skyline. Fortunately, when it arrived, it did not have a hood prop, so I'm using this piece of wood. But this battery, I actually don't know the cold cranking amps of. I'm going to assume it's somewhere close to the 240, so I'll put it at like 660. And then battery voltage right now showing 12.55, so that's better already. So let's go there, 660. Let's see what it tells us. Also saying replace the battery. Measured 169 cold cranking amps, rated at 660. So it's not looking good for a lot of my batteries, which kind of makes sense because these two cars are seldom driven. They're not my daily driver cars. I don't drive them every day. I don't always keep the battery tender on them. The Skyline generally I do, but the 240 I do not. So now I'm going to try it out on my Subaru, which is one of my daily drivers right now. So that will be a good test whether, you know, I've got a good battery in that one, or if perhaps this is maybe a little bit skewed. So we'll try it out. Alright, so here we have my Subaru Legacy, which is a daily driven vehicle. So it's reading 13 volts. It should be like 12.6-ish to 13. I just started a little bit ago, so whatever. I'm going to go ahead and put, this is 725 cold cranking amps, so I'm going to put that in. Sorry, we'll just go 720. Alright, let's see what it tells us. It says this is a good battery. Measured at 849 cold cranking amps, rated at 720. So that's great. This makes sense. This battery starts every time. I've drove it through really hard winters, haven't touched the battery, and it works great. This battery has never died on me, so that makes sense. With my other cars over here that I don't drive as often as I'd like, kind of makes sense that the batteries are testing bad. But alright, and this battery is for my Honda Civic. This car, I'm suspecting this battery's bad. It still starts the car and everything in the mornings after sitting a couple days and everything, but the crank's kind of slow, a little slow for my liking, so I figure I'll test the battery. And just right now it's reading 12.4, which good battery should reach somewhere around 12.6, but 12.4 I would say is acceptable. So let's go ahead and test it out. So press OK to continue. It's a regular battery. We got 500 cold cranking amps. And then let's see what it says. Okay, so it says replace battery. It says it's only measuring at 342 cold cranking amps. And this is actually a pretty new battery. I bought it probably a year and a half ago. So as far as batteries go, that's not that old. Problem being, it just went completely dead probably at least four times over the last year. I had this car sitting at my parents' house just because I wasn't using it. I've got a few other cars that I drive in the summer. This is more of a winter-ish kind of car for me. So it died a bunch of times, and you can only deep cycle a battery so many times before it's junk. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up replacing this soon because it's basically just about to the point where it's going to start getting real cold out. We're going to get into the negative temperatures, so I'm going to go ahead and replace this battery just as a preventative thing because I don't want it not starting on me in the morning and then I got to jump it and all that, so don't want to have to deal with that. So this is good that I have this because now I can test this without having to lug this over to, you know, an AutoZone or O'Reilly or whatever, so they can put it on their machine and whatnot. So this is a very useful tool to have. So I'm really liking the features on this thing so far. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try this out here in multimeter mode. This is something that's very useful because it's kind of an all-in-one tool. It's just probably my nicest scan tool that I've got currently. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put the red lead here, black lead there, and 12.49 volts. So that's basically what we're getting on the battery test as well. There's a couple other things you can test here. So I had it on DC voltage, but we can also change it down to AC voltage, so you could use this for house stuff even. Looks like this is continuity test. Let's test that out. Yep. So it'll beep like that when it's got continuity, something's going straight through. So I could use it to test, say, a fuse, which is a good thing to have. So let's test this big guy right here. Yep, it's a good fuse. Good fuse. Good fuse as well. So this is actually very handy. You've got diode test as well, looks like. I believe this one is for current draw, 20 amps, and then 200 milliamp up to 200 milliamps. So this is a very handy tool. So I'm definitely going to be using this when I do my next remote start video. If you watch the channel, you see do a lot of remote starts, so this will be handy. I'm going to definitely put this to the test. Alright, so final thoughts with this tool. For the price you pay, $100 or so is what it's selling for currently on Amazon right now in end of 2019. It's a very powerful tool. It's a multimeter, a battery tester, and a code reader all in one, which you can't buy all those three things for less than $100, at least anything halfway decent. So for the price, I would say this is great. I did a couple of the real world tests here, and it's surpassed my expectations for the price point. I think it's a very good tool. It's definitely going to be one of my go-to ones when I buy a new car. I'm going to test the battery out, check for codes. One of the first things I do is always check for codes on a new vehicle that I buy. I don't buy new cars, I buy used cars, but I mean new to me when I say new. So I would say if you're in the market for something affordable, you can't get this in the stores, I don't believe. I've never seen this in the stores, so you're going to have to go Amazon, eBay, online, on their website and get this. The AL539B I think is a very good tool for the price. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave them below. But until next time, thanks.